Hello, everybody. Welcome back once more to the Anime Yay or Nay movie time thing. I need a better name for that. I'm the Outback Al.
I'm hot for justice.
And I'm NV Jitters.
And so Chibi Noob will not be able to join us today because they did not watch the Steins Gate, and Yin is actually out of town right now. So, as we're recording this, so not, yeah. Anyway, we watched Steins Gate. Low Region Deja Vu. I do not do like subtitles well. Or
the title makes sense for the movie, but I just call it Steins Gate the movie.
Yeah, Steins Gate the movie. Anyway, so this happens all after the original series. Not, I guess, like a couple months after.
No, a year.
A year. Okay.
Yeah.
Kurisu's back in town. And correct me if I'm wrong. Did the song they had at the beginning, whenever she's flying across the sea, was that the same band who did their opening for the TV show?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the same singer. I forget her name, but yeah, that was the same singer.
Okay. Overall, though, I think their little opening was a little bit boring. Because it was just a couple shots of a plane and some lines. But that's just me. The rest of the movie is pretty damn good, though.
Oh, yeah.
Kurisu gets back to Japan and is greeted by Mayuri at the airport, and that's nice. Okabe's around doing his Hyoin Kyoma thing. Everyone meets up, and everything is back to normal. People are fighting, people are perving, people are going, oh, these two, just shut up and kiss already. And then everybody else shows up for a barbecue that was supposed to be a surprise, but they ruin it because you can't trust these people to do anything right. All the meanwhile, though, Okabe's having a little bit of trouble because, and we kind of saw this at the end of the other of the series, where he was kind of seeing the other world lines a little bit. It's a little more prominent now because he actually feels like he's living them as opposed to just remembering them at this point. Which, at first I was just like, okay, you got some serious PTSD, and I get why.
But it turns out his reading Steiner ability is going haywire, to put it like.
It's going into overdrive. But yeah, so they're at the party, and while he's contemplating some of these issues, Kurisu gets super drunk and starts berating him. Which I don't know how you get that drunk off of like 2 beers. But, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, Mr. Braun got drunk off of 2 beers. He's a big man.
Maybe he had more than 2.
I guess so. I do like him drunk. It's like, non-alcoholic beers are quitters. But yeah, so she kind of berates him and then molests him in the stairwell. Well, I don't know. He seemed into it, but it's a bit of a 180 for him. Yeah, maybe Daru has a point. She definitely is very tsundere.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's having a lot of trouble herself with the whole Steins Gate other world lines thing, because he's the only one who remembers anything that happened during the series. Yeah. Everyone else kind of remembers. They have glimpses and flashes of maybe dreams and stuff, but to them it's like it didn't really happen. So, you know, he's a bit on his own in that regard. Oh, Daru started dating someone apparently online by lying to them. And it's Suzuha's mom. So
yeah.
And well, yeah. So Kurisu's having some trouble with the whole Steins Gate thing because she has these feelings for Okabe. She doesn't understand why they're there or how they're there because she feels like she just met him very recently anyway. But she's also pissed at him for not texting or anything when she went back to America afterwards.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, he kind of, yeah. He's not great at communication or being a boyfriend or whatever their relationship is at this point. But yeah, so they're going back and forth a little bit because it's like she's not sure how to work with this. He's not sure how to work with this because, like, again, he realizes he's the only one who remembers any of these things. So as far as anyone else is concerned, it never happened anyway. So, you know, he's like, I can't really act on things that didn't actually occur. So he's sane enough in his insanity for that situation. But at the same time, he's having such heavy-duty flashbacks that he puts a knife to Mr. Braun's throat, thinking that he's still working for CERN.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, boy, you need some serious therapy right now.
Yeah, buddy, what you doing?
Yup. That's like, need the outpatient thing for him.
But just when you thought the plot was going to be Okabe dealing with PTSD the entire movie, the next day him and Kurisu are talking at the laundromat, and then all of a sudden he disappears, and nobody remembers he ever existed.
Yup.
Yeah.
That was something. And yeah, Kurisu's going around frantic now because, holy crap, this guy I know just disappeared in front of me, but I don't remember his name. Was there a guy there? And she's losing her shit right now. But other things are afoot since Suzuha has returned from the future, and she's breaks into Kurisu's room. This actually might have been before Okabe blinked out of existence. And she's like, "Hey, you got to remember the microwave, the cell phone, and CERN." Because she needs to build a time machine to fix the problem. Because that's the only way we solve anything in this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she doesn't remember, but she does remember, and she's trying to figure this out. And like, Okabe did something nice and gave her an engraved fork and spoon for her. Because she really wanted that, but she doesn't remember telling him that because she didn't tell him that in this world line. But, you know, hey, he gave it to her anyway. And that reminds her of a couple of things, and she remembers how the time machine works. She's like, wait, I can do this time machine thing, and then I can figure out what the problem is, because I keep remembering this guy, but not remembering this guy, but no one else seems to remember this guy, but we do remember this guy, because we're all doing things that this guy did. I'm probably not explaining that very well. It's probably easier if you just watch the movie. But yeah, so they're doing that, and they build the phone wave.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to explain it is the title of the film, Deja Vu.
Yeah, they're having deja vu for someone that they've never met. They rebuild the phone wave and the brain scanner thing to send Kurisu's mind backwards, because she's like, okay, if we're right and there was a person, I'm going to go back in time to before the point where we all forgot him. Because we seem to remember that was the point that it happened.
Well, don't forget that... Did we mention that Suzuha is the one who tells her to do this?
Yeah, I think I said that. She said, remember the microwave, the cell phone, and CERN. So they hack CERN, get the details that they need, rig up the microwave, rig up the cell phone, rig up the headset, and they're like, I'm going to go back in time. If this guy is here, then that proves that something happened. But if there's no one, then I'm just going to do life exactly the same as it was, not mess with anything. Somehow they go past the 2-day mark that they had before. It's not really explained how, but, you know, that's whatever. And yeah, she finds Okabe and she's like, oh my god, that's the guy. But he keeps blipping in and out. And she's not sure why, and it's freaking her out a little bit. Because it's like, 1 second, he's there, she remembers him, and then the next second, he is no longer there, she doesn't remember him anymore, neither does anyone else. And I guess Daru is the leader of the group. But, yeah. She runs into Suzuha yet again, because she's the only one who knows anything that's going on. And she starts talking to her about the world line theory stuff. Like, how they were like, we had to get to Steins Gate by going through a number of different world lines to create the world line that was actually going to be good for everybody. Problem is, there's a very close other world line called, I guess, the R world line, which is like 0.0000001% difference. I guess the 0.1% difference is Okabe. And he's slipping between the two world lines and basically going in and out of actual existence, because the way they explain it is his reader Steiner gives him connections to all the world lines, but he's remembering them all too much, and he's not grounded to any one particular one, so he's no longer thinking of his reality as his reality. He's thinking of it as one of many memories. So he has no way to plant himself on Steins Gate's world line. Did I get that right? I'm really not sure whether I did or not.
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, good. Back to the plot. So they're trying to figure out what to do about this, because they're like, well, we'll use time travel. That solves everything. And Okabe's like, fuck no. Do you realize how much shit I went through the last time this happened? And he's telling people, no, don't do it. You shouldn't be doing this. Just let me fade off into oblivion. You'll be better off for it. And at first, Kurisu is willing to accept it. And she's like, you know what? This is what he wants. There's nothing I can do about it. We just gotta do it. But then she does the thing that she did in the series before, where, like, what was it? It was like near the end of the series where they had to undo the last D-mail that was going to kill Kurisu, and she just decides at that moment to go back and tell Okabe that she loves him.
Yeah.
This is after they had a heart-to-heart and made out in front of the train station, which was a very sweet scene. But yeah, so she misses her chance, and he blips out of existence at the last possible moment before she can say it. So, yet again, too bad for her. And God, what happened from there? She's back to square one. No one remembers anything, but she kind of remembers now because she did the time travel thing already. And Suzuha's approaching her again, like, okay, so what do you want to do? You built the time machine, and you do blah, blah, blah. And she's going back and forth, constantly contradicting herself, because she's, like, constantly going back, like, you know, is it a good idea to do this? I mean, I know I feel this way, and I want to help him out, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if we do mess with the timeline, you know, what else could happen? Well, all the butterfly effects, and, like, it's like she is having such trouble making a decision on this thing, and, you know, she's really understanding finally what Okabe was going through whenever he was trying to save her and Mayuri. Which is a lot to handle.
Yeah.
But eventually gets to the point where Suzuha convinces her, you know, let's just try and see what happens. So they're like, how do we get him to anchor himself to Steins Gate, the original world line? And they're like, well, what about memories? He has memories of so many things. We need to have a memory that he'll have before all the other memories started. So something that he can latch onto and realize, okay, this is the timeline. And they're like, all right, we'll go back in time to the day that him and Mayuri did the whole "you're my hostage" thing, which is a very pivotal day for him.
Which is in 2005, I believe.
Yeah, June 30th, I think it said, 2005. So they go back in time to that point. And Kurisu doesn't know what to do or how to do this. She's, like, how often do you get put in this situation? So she's just, like, calling out to him. She sees young, either late middle school or early high school him.
He would have been 13 because 13. In 2000 he was 18, so now he's 13.
Okay. So yeah, he's wait, what?
In the original in the Steins Gate series, canonically he's 18.
Okay. All right.
In 2010. So
Okay, so he's 13. She sees 13-year-old mini Okabe without his styled hair or his jacket or anything, and just looks like a normal kid. And she calls to him from across the street, but she like falls in the street, and then he runs out to help her out and gets hit by a car.
yep.
And then she's back at the present, like, oh, okay. So this is what he was really dealing with. This is not fun. And she goes back to the whole back and forth of like, should we continue to do this? Maybe I should just not bother. Like, this could be a situation where it's like just fixed. He's gonna die no matter what. He saved the day, and now he dies, like a Jesus moment thing.
But then at the lab, everyone has the realization that they have memories of this guy named Okabe, and that finally convinced Kurisu to give it another shot, because even if Okabe says he'll be erased from history, that'll never happen. There'll always be some trace of him, no matter which world line he'll be on. So can't get rid of a mad scientist like that.
Right. You can't get rid of a personality like that. You can't get rid of a person who affected other people's lives like that. And I think she realizes that's what Deja Vu really is the Steins Gate world lines. Memories overlapping. So yeah, after a pretty halfway decent Hyoin Kyoma impression, and everyone being like, yes, we remember this person.
Yeah.
She goes back, and Suzuha is like, all right, let's try this again. I just got to figure out something to do. It's gonna ground him to this world line and make him remember who he is and where he is and all this stuff. And she has no clue how to do it. And she's just walking around, contemplating, trying to figure it out, trying to think. And then, and then she like starts thinking about herself and like, kind of like maybe some of the bad elements about herself and things that work like. Why there's been a lot of stuff in here like, why does she love this guy? It doesn't make sense to her, but it's there anyway. And lo and behold, there he is. He just shows up at this train station that she's at, and he's like, hey, you seem like you're having a pretty bad day. I know a girl who's been having a pretty bad day too, and he's talking about Mayuri and how like things are going really bad, and he doesn't know he wants to do something, but he doesn't know what to do to help her. And Kurisu looks at this little Okabe and says, you ever heard of Hyoin Kyoma? He's like, nope. And she's like, well, Hyoin Kyoma. And she goes into his whole thing about how he was a scientist who saw things that other people didn't. And he was rambling and crazy and, but people liked him and all that. But at the same time, no one took him seriously. He discovered something that changed humanity, but no one would ever know it. And he did stuff that saved humanity and the people around him, but no one ever realized it. And he's like, well, that's sad. He's like, and she was like, nope, he wasn't sad about it. He was like, that's just who he was. He didn't do it for the recognition. What's recognition to a mad scientist? And yeah, he lived on and did his thing. And then she leans in and kisses the underage kid.
Yeah, I
get it, but I'm a little. That's skeevy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 19-year-old kissing a 13-year-old, and even in Japan,
that's no bueno.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's no bueno. But I mean, he takes it well, I guess. Because he's like, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, pretty girl just kissed me. Yeah.
I just got grabbed and smooched by some random redhead at a train station. She was significantly older than me. Should I tell the authorities about this?
But then he goes and he does his thing with Mayuri at the gravesite, making her his hostage. And so that connects back to the original series because Kurisu went to the past and inspired him to become Hyoin Kyoma. That led to him developing Future Gadget Laboratory, meeting everybody, and then, lo and behold, the time machine, and then it just works.
Yeah, and then she goes and finds him in the Oblivion, I suppose. And she's like, hey, I'm here because I'm connected to you, and I'm part of you, and you're part of us, and all of this sort of like, everything. It's like, I don't know if it's a string theory kind of sentiment, like a romantic string theory idea, but she's like, hey, and you're still with us, and always will be, and blah, blah, blah. And he comes back to reality and starts doing his Hyoin Kyoma stick, and I think they mentioned, like, whenever they first kissed in the series, that this is like, but presumptuous of you to think that was my first kiss. And like, now it was.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, do you think you'll take it back, my first kiss? And she's like, nope.
How do you take that back? Still a little on the creepy side.
Yeah. But
it's like after that point, he's like, so this explains why I'm into aggressive redheads.
But yeah, other than that creepiness at the end, I love the movie. It was a great epilogue to the main series, and it wrapped everything up nicely.
Yeah, I like how it kind of came back around to elements between the two of them, and like, this thing has like a weird sort of, this whole series has like a weird sort of pseudo destiny kind of elements to it, of like, can we change destiny? Is destiny set? Is it not set? What is the nature of reality and the effects that we have on it? And a lot of it is based on connections with people, which is a very nice thing to have, but it kind of just goes back to like, they've always been OTP.
Yeah.
It's like, even when they're children, or at least when one of them, it's a little creepy still, but yeah. Yeah, it's always just been them. And everybody else, I guess, but, it was nice.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It kind of reminded me, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya.
No, but I want to see that one day.
I might spoil a little bit for you. Part of the premise is that 3 years before the series is set, Haruhi Suzumiya in middle school went and drew a giant symbol on a baseball field with like a line drawer thing. And people were like, well, that's the point where she started getting weird and started doing blah, blah, blah. But there's like a lot of, she like has certain abilities and powers to control things. And a lot of people point to that as being the moment that she gained the ability to affect the world around her. And there is some time travel element. And the main character, Kyon, goes back in time and runs into her as a kid when she's going to do it. And she ropes him into helping her write this giant symbol on the ground. And he's wearing a school uniform. She's like, what school uniform is that? It's like, it's this school or whatever. And he's like, well, what's your name? John Smith. And like, and she's like, that's not a real name. He's like, yep, no, it's not. Because he's like not willing to tell her shit. Because, timelines and stuff. But he eventually asks her later in the series, why did you decide to go to this school as opposed to another school? Because like high schools in Japan, you have to apply for them. And she's like, well, there was this guy I met a while ago who went to this school, and I don't know, I just wanted to go. But yeah, it kind of reminded me a bit of that, of like this sort of cyclical nature of Kyon never would have went to the past if it wasn't for Haruhi Suzumiya, and Haruhi Suzumiya never would have set in motion the stuff for him to go to the past had he not been in the past already. So it's kind of bootstrap theory, I guess. Like,
yeah.
And I guess to some degree, like, Steins Gate tends to flip-flop around with a couple of different theories that they go with throughout the series, I guess. Because, like, they're primarily working on multiverse theory, as I think you guys know with the whole world line thing.
Yeah.
But this one, based on what happened with Kurisu, seems to go bootstrap theory. because had she never, having met Kyoma, she went back in time and created Hyo and Kyoma. But it's only because she created Hyo and Kyoma that Hyo and Kyoma inspired her, and she met him. So it's kind of like that Terminator thing. Terminator is always so paradoxical to me. But it's like, it's also bootstrap theory, where it's like, the machines go back, send robots to go back and kill John Connor. And because of that, John Connor grows up to fight the machines, which makes them want to go back and kill him so that he doesn't exist. But the only reason that he exists is because Terminators came back to kill John Connor. So it's one of those, you create the situation even if you're trying to change it. Which I think is great from an irony and funny standpoint, but it kind of works really well here from a sentimental, romantic kind of human connection kind of standpoint, which you don't often see, I think. At least with time travel stuff. So, I like that. I went into a bunch of mumbo jumbo there, didn't I?
No, you're good.
It's okay.
I can. You should hear me and Yin do like in-depth analysis of just the most obscure science and movie stuff sometimes. We just go into it.
I mean, this movie pretty much was just... It felt like an extended episode of the show, and so we can talk more about the science of it, because they're really, we didn't really talk too much about the plot, because it was like a standard plot.
I feel like I went over the plot pretty extensively.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like we went over extensively like we would do for the anime A or Nay for the weeks or something like that.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, it is... I'm trying to think what else to think about this movie. What else did I find it interesting that despite the fact that Kyoma wasn't there, everyone still found their connections with each other. You could argue that it's still because the presence of Kyoma was still there, I think, is the main thing. But it's like...
Yeah,
despite...
Because there ain't no way Daru would meet everybody and find...
No.
On his own.
No. He would have found Ferris, that's about it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Oh, I do like how they kept in the one joke of, like, early on where they're... Mayuri and Ruka meet Kurisu in the airport, and she doesn't remember everybody super well, so she's like, oh, right, your name, Ruka, right? And she's like, it's like, remember, he's a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta keep that in there. So, yeah. Overall, good movie. Good successor to the series.
Yep.
Maybe sometime... I was gonna say maybe sometime in the next couple years, you three can watch Steins Gate Zero, which is I don't know how to explain it. It's a sequel and not a sequel at the same time to the main Steins Gate.
I've heard it's depressing Steins Gate, which is a weird thing to say because there are elements of Steins Gate that are already pretty depressing.
The series basically, it's... At the starting point, it's a spin-off where it takes place in a timeline where Okabe gives up. He doesn't try to save Kurisu. He just gives up and just is satisfied with Mayuri living. But then, lo and behold, he meets Kurisu's lab partner in America, who comes to Japan, and she is debuting new AI technology, and lo and behold, the AI that they chose to run is Kurisu.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that sounds interesting. Kind of depressing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very... Yeah, it's very different at the start compared to the original Steins Gate, especially considering the first half of Steins Gate was very, upbeat. But the second half of Steins Gate Zero, goes back to the traditional Steins Gate formula in a way, which I won't spoil, but it's a
so it's like a mirror of Steins Gate, where Steins Gate was like funny, goofy shenanigans, then it got serious, and then heartfelt at the end. It goes serious and then goofy shenanigans.
well, no. It goes from heartfelt serious to adventure through timelines in the second half.
Okay.
And there are moments of, funny, goofy stuff. It's not entirely depressing. There's a lot of
Well, I would hope not.
funny moments. Yeah, there's a lot of funny moments in Skate Zero, especially the new character Maho, because it's maybe someday in the future we can watch it.
I don't always know for some, because like some shows have really good endings, and then they make a sequel for them anyway, when I feel like most, if not all of the like little things have been, the loose ends have been tied up, and it was satisfying, and that it's like you guys didn't really watch Code Geass.
No.
But
I haven't watched all of it.
I love that show. It has probably one of the best endings in anime, right up there with like Bebop. But they made a sequel series to it, and I don't ever want to watch it, because I'm like, okay, you already ended on like the perfect note.
Yeah, I was
don't
kind of
want
the same way
whatever you
too.
make afterwards.
I was kind of the same way too, because I was like you. The ending to Steins Gate was really perfect, but I was hearing from it, and so I finally caved and I binged it. And I will say, the way it ends makes sense. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. I mean,
I can't really talk about it without giving a lot of it away, because
No,
one
I
of the
get that.
shows. Yeah.
I guess part of me is like, it could be fine if it's like it's a spin-off kind of thing. It's like an alternate reality kind of thing. So it doesn't, like, I think my problem with like a sequel series to a show that ended well is like, okay, so you're basically saying that it doesn't matter that it ended here on a perfect note. We're still going to continue the story. But if it's like an alternate world line thing, it's not so bad, because it's like, okay, if this isn't good, it doesn't actually affect the fact that there was a perfect ending before.
Yeah. It's labeled as a sequel, but in reality, it's more of, this is a different world line. This is a Okabe, even though it's still the same voice cast and it's still the same characterization. It's just a different world line.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe at some point.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some other shows we're probably going to watch beforehand, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, any final thoughts on this?
Nope.
Alrighty then. Well, we'll figure out probably whenever the update should come out. When will the update come out? On Friday. So you'll know then what our next movie should be, because I don't think we've decided at this point what it's going to be yet. But yeah, so watch out for that on the update, and we'll probably post on social media what we'll be doing for next week. This was a yay, by the way, if you're going to watch it. If you've been watching along with us, you know that we gave Steins Gate a pretty solid yay. And this is a good follow-up to it, so...
Yeah, I agree.
So watch out on social media for whenever we say what the next movie for November is going to be. And if you haven't already, go check out our other anime yay or nay for this week, where we went over Ascendance of a Bookworm, Kabuki Show Sherlock, and Tiger and Bunny. Because some of them are amping up, some of them are doing things, some of them are... Yeah. Well, you know what? Go watch it. You'll find out what we thought. So... Anyway, we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoy this video, give us a like, and if you haven't already, check out some of our previous episodes, our daily gaming videos, or our parody series, Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!